Welcome to the deep dive. You're here because you want to quickly get a handle on what's driving a major financial player and where they're planning to go. Today, we're diving straight into Mizuho Financial Group. Think of this as your shortcut to understanding their inner workings and, their vision for the future.
And to give you some immediate context, Mizuho isn't exactly a newcomer. Its history stretches back to 1873 with the First National Bank.
Wow, 1873.
Yeah, a heritage deeply tied to Japan's economic development. Now, they're navigating a global landscape undergoing, well, pretty significant shifts.
Right.
Changes in how global economies connect, a heightened focus on ESG, environmental and social responsibility, rapid leaps in technology, and especially in Japan, the realities of a declining birth rate and an aging population. These are kind of the currents shaping their strategies now.
Exactly. And at the heart of their approach is a clear purpose. Proactively innovate together with our clients for a prosperous and sustainable future. Okay, let's break that down for you a bit.
Okay.
It's about Mizuho aligning its goals with yours, leveraging their financial strength and consulting expertise to contribute to, well, a better world. Sustainability isn't just a buzzword for them, it seems. It's about actively supporting the technologies and businesses that are building a more sustainable future. Plus, they're looking inward, fostering new ideas and ways of working within their own organization.
Right. And for this deep dive, we're using their Integrated Report 2024 as our primary source. Think of it as their comprehensive roadmap.
Okay.
We're going to pull out the crucial insights into their core business areas, how they've been performing financially, their plans to deliver value to shareholders, and their overall outlook on what's to come.
So let's get straight into how Mizuho has structured their business segments. They've got a definite plan to strengthen their foundation to really achieve their business goals. What immediately caught my eye is their emphasis on improving the experience for their customers in Japan.
Yeah. What's fascinating here from your perspective as a consumer or just watching the industry is their dual approach. They're heavily investing in digital convenience, upgrading their banking app, the Mizuho Wallet, making payments smoother.
Right.
But they also recognize that some things are best done face-to-face. So they're reshaping branches to focus more on personalized advice for managing assets. And to bridge the gap, they're setting up an AI-powered call center for better remote support. It's about giving customers choices, really.
Right, that balance, digital efficiency, but also that human connection when it truly counts. They're also making a significant push to enhance their consulting capabilities. It's not just about offering loans and accounts anymore, is it?
Not at all. They're stressing the importance of building stronger consulting skills among employees, making sure they have a deep understanding of their clients' businesses.
Okay.
They specifically highlight asset finance as an area where this enhanced consulting will help drive the transition to carbon neutrality and, a more circular economy. So for you, this means Mizuho aims to be more of a strategic partner, helping businesses navigate complex challenges like sustainability.
Turning our attention globally then, their corporate and investment banking CIB business is undergoing a significant refresh. Sounds like they're aiming for more consistent profitability on the international stage.
Exactly. They're pointing to their improved standing in the U.S. CIB league tables, which is a super competitive market as a key indicator.
Yeah.
And in Asia, where interest rates have been rising, they've been strengthening their transaction banking services. The acquisition of Greenhill is a strategic move, too.
Ah, Greenhill.
Yeah, boosting their capabilities in M&A and equity financing, essentially making them a stronger bridge for corporate activity between Japan and the rest of the world. And they're also very focused on strengthening global control and governance, which is important for stability.
So it's about targeted expansion and ensuring they have a solid operational framework. They're even looking at their own internal culture to drive more innovation, you mentioned.
Yeah, what's interesting to note here is how they're trying to spark new ideas from within. The Mizuho Group CEO Challenge that suggests a formal process for employees to put forward innovative proposals. They're also focused on adopting industry best practices and fostering collaboration across different parts of the organization. The significant changes to their HR system in Japan, plus efforts to promote women and build a strong alumni network,
Right.
it signals a deep commitment to their people, which ultimately impacts the service you might receive.
Now let's pivot to the financial aspects. The report starts by acknowledging the Bank of Japan's decision to end its negative interest rate policy, a major economic shift.
Yeah, big news.
All within the context of those global uncertainties we mentioned at the start.
Precisely. And they've set out their targets for net business profits in key areas for fiscal years 2023 and 2024, compared to 2022. In asset and wealth management, they're projecting a notable increase. What might that suggest to you?
It suggests they see a growing demand for services that help clients manage their money effectively, right? They're aiming for a plus 9.0 billion yen increase in FY 2023 and another plus 18.0 billion yen in FY 2024. That's a clear indication of focus.
Exactly. And their targets for their corporate business in Japan are even more ambitious.
Right.
Plus 25.0 billion yen in FY 2023 and plus 40.0 billion yen in FY 2024.
Wow.
They specifically mention allocating more resources to higher margin activities like M&A financing and strategic investments. So it tells you they're being selective about where they deploy capital for the best returns.
And on the global front, their CIB business is also expected to see significant profit growth, plus 12.0 billion yen in FY 2023, jumping to plus 29.0 billion yen in FY 2024. Focus on clients outside Japan, Americas, APAC mostly.
hmm
So the growth strategy seems pretty concentrated in these specific areas.
And if you combine those figures, the total targeted increase in net business profits in these priority areas is plus 46.0 billion yen for FY 2023 and a substantial plus 87.0 billion yen for FY 2024. This really highlights where they anticipate their biggest gains.
It's clear where they're betting on growth. But how are they making room for these investments? It sounds like they're strategically reallocating their resources.
You're right. They're talking about actively reducing their involvement in less competitive businesses and selling off lower profit assets, particularly in their global and retail operations.
Okay.
This frees up capital and personnel to concentrate on those higher growth areas we just discussed. They even have a target to reduce low profit risk-weighted assets, RWAs. Think of these as assets needing more capital reserves
Right, RWAs.
by a significant amount, 12 to 13 trillion, between FY 2023 and FY 2025. This makes their balance sheet more efficient.
So it's a deliberate strategy, streamlining certain parts to fuel expansion in others. And this all ties into their broader medium-term business plan, 2023 to 2025, right?
Yes, that plan is presented as a cohesive journey, connecting all these initiatives, ultimately aiming to create value both for clients and in addressing broader social issues. The core idea is forward-looking structural changes for a more robust, adaptable financial group. Efficient resource use through flexible business development, that's a central theme.
And we can't overlook the increasing importance of sustainability. It seems like Mizuho is making it a core part of their operations.
Absolutely. Their goal of facilitating 100 trillion in sustainable finance is a huge commitment.
Yeah, 100 trillion.
And their active role as a market maker in the Tokyo Stock Exchange's carbon credit market, even being recognized as the best in that role, recently shows they're not just talking about it, they're actively participating.
Right.
The publication of their Impact Business Compass further underscores their dedication here.
So these strategic moves and initiatives appear to be translating into positive financial results, at least based on their key financial highlights for fiscal year 2023.
Indeed. Their consolidated net business profits hit 1,005.8 billion in FY 2023. They proudly state it's the highest figure they've achieved since 2002.
Since 2002, wow, that's a significant milestone.
Definitely.
And they attribute this strong performance to several key factors, correct? Growth in interest income, more revenue from solutions and investment banking, strong results from customer and markets divisions, plus external factors like higher U.S. interest rates and the weaker yen seem to have helped too.
Exactly. And as we've highlighted, the strong performance in those priority areas was a major driver of this overall success. Their focused approach seems to be paying off.
Okay, let's look at their financial foundation. What were the key changes in their overall assets and liabilities?
Their total assets saw a substantial year-on-year increase, 200.4 trillion, reaching 278 trillion total.
Huge numbers.
Yeah. Their loan portfolio also expanded, growing by 4.0 trillion to 92 trillion, indicating increased lending. Deposits in NCDs rose by 7.1 trillion to 171 trillion, reflecting more customer deposits both in Japan and internationally.
And their investment holdings also saw some adjustments, reflecting that shifting economic environment you mentioned.
Precisely. In response to the end of negative interest rates in Japan, they reduced their holdings of Japanese government bonds by 5.7 trillion.
Okay.
Simultaneously, their balance in the Bank of Japan's current account increased by 6.3 trillion. They also increased their holdings of foreign bonds by 5.0 trillion, partly influenced by the weaker yen.
And how did these shifts in their investment portfolio affect their unrealized gains and losses? That's always interesting.
It is. It's a crucial indicator of portfolio health. They saw a significant year-on-year increase of 643.0 billion in net unrealized gains, reaching 1,455.4 billion.
Wow.
This was largely due to a 651.4 billion increase in unrealized gains on their Japanese stock holdings, benefiting from rising stock prices. They also took steps to strengthen the overall quality of their bond portfolio.
So a more robust investment portfolio overall. And in terms of their financial strength, their stability, what do the capital ratios tell us?
Capital adequacy remains strong. Their Common Equity Tier 1, or CET1, capital ratio, a key measure of core strength, stood at 12.73% as of March 31st, 2024.
Solid.
Yeah, an improvement from the previous year. Even excluding unrealized gains on certain securities, it's healthy at 11.83%. Importantly, they emphasize all regulatory capital ratios are comfortably above required minimums.
Good buffer.
Exactly. Under the fully implemented Basel III framework, their CET1 was 9.8%, excluding those unrealized gains. So yeah, a buffer against potential shocks.
That sounds like a solid financial foundation.
So with this strong performance, what are Mizuho's plans for rewarding their shareholders?
Returning value to shareholders is clearly a priority. They've announced an estimated total dividend for fiscal year 2024 of 115 per share.
Okay.
This represents a 10 year-on-year increase and marks the fourth consecutive year of dividend growth. That consistency is something investors definitely look for.
That consistent growth in dividends will likely be well received. And what's their underlying philosophy when it comes to distributing profits?
They have a stated policy. Determine dividends based on steady growth of sustainable earnings, with a target dividend payout ratio of 40%. It provides a clear framework.
40% payout ratio target. Okay. And beyond just dividends, what's their broader strategy for managing their capital?
Their focus is on maintaining an optimal balance between capital adequacy, having enough buffer investing in growth opportunities, and enhancing shareholder returns.
The balancing act.
It is. They have a target range for their CET1 capital ratio, aiming for mid-9 to 10% up to mid-10 to 11%. This ensures resilience, but also capacity for expansion. Given their current strong CET1 ratio, they indicate they have greater flexibility now to pursue both shareholder returns and strategic growth investments.
So looking ahead then, what are the key strategic priorities that will shape Mizuho's business moving forward?
They are really reiterating their core directions. Ambition to double income from asset and wealth management, enhance Japanese companies' global competitiveness, improve the customer experience overall, strengthen that global CIB model, and maintain a strong focus on sustainability and innovation. Plus, strengthening their underlying corporate foundations remains key.
It sounds like a well-integrated strategy where, creating value for society and enhancing their own business performance kind of go hand in hand.
That's the central theme they're pushing. They underscore this integrated approach, emphasizing commitment to tackling challenges with their clients and contributing to broader societal well-being. The aim is a positive cycle of growth and value creation.
And they're clearly keeping a close eye on the broader economic and geopolitical landscape as they move forward. You can't ignore that.
Absolutely not. They acknowledge the ongoing uncertainties, geopolitical, economic progression, but also highlight the positive development of the end of negative interest rates in Japan.
Right. That's a big shift domestically.
It is, and it could have significant positive implications for their profitability going forward.
And their final message seems to be one of continuous improvement and the need to adapt to a constantly changing world.
Yes, a commitment to constantly challenge their own assumptions, prioritize foresight, and adapt strategies to achieve further growth in what remains a dynamic and often unpredictable business environment.
So to summarize our deep dive then, we've seen Mizuho strategically focusing on high potential growth areas, delivering strong financial performance in fiscal 2023, demonstrating a commitment to increasing shareholder value through consistent dividend increases, and adopting a forward-looking approach in a constantly evolving global landscape.
And that brings us to a final point for you, the listener, to consider. Given Mizuho's long and rich history, coupled with their proactive stance on innovation and sustainability, what role do you believe large financial institutions like Mizuho will play in shaping that prosperous and sustainable future in this era of rapid change and uncertainty, both within Japan and globally?
Yeah.
It really makes you ponder the crucial balance, doesn't it, between honoring tradition and truly embracing transformation for such significant organizations.
Some really important points to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.